In the Newsroom is a production in partnership with Studio Stillwater. Every week, journalists from the Stillwater News Press invite listeners to join us in the newsroom and hear the story behind the stories. Hello and welcome to In the Newsroom. I'm Bo Simmons, editor of the Stillwater News Press. With me today, reporter Ashlyn Huffman.
Hello.
City editor Michelle Charles.
Hello.
And a special guest, writer, filmmaker, student, Destinee Adams.
Hi. Thank you.
Well, and also former News Press intern.
Yeah.
This is a great story. Could have gone to Paris, ended up here.
Yeah.
How about that?
What?
Yeah, did you know that?
I feel bad for her. I feel really bad for Destinee now.
That little thing, that little hiccup in the spring of 2020 sent Destinee our way.
Yes.
Right? You're
Honestly, think it was for the better. Honestly.
We do too.
How often does that happen? Paris, France, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Well, it worked out for us too. Destinee, we've brought on today because of this. I don't think any of it's entirely coincidental, but Destinee had a piece co-authored Zamaan Qureshi in Time magazine, sort of about the perils of Instagram and other social media, and the effect on young women. So Destinee's piece comes out, pretty popular, a lot of, went national, pretty quickly. And then, not even a few days later, it was the 60 Minutes piece on the Facebook whistleblower.
Yes.
So the timing was so crazy. But please tell us what led you to that and how you got there and what it was about.
It's crazy because it definitely was a coincidence.
Okay.
When Time reached out to me and Zamaan, we were not thinking that it was going to go viral or anything, just because we were writing in response to the Wall Street Journal article that was posted like a week before us. And I think the editors kind of knew because they kind of pushed in. They were like, hey guys, like this is going to be super cool. And me and Zamaan are just sitting there like, we're just working with Time. Like that's so cool. We're just over here writing.
What was the Wall Street Journal piece? The
Wall Street Journal piece was about some research that Facebook had released about like data surrounding young teenage girls and how it affects young teenage girls and the negative impacts.
Okay.
But Facebook hasn't released that data. So it was leaked. The Facebook research data was leaked, and the Wall Street Journal got on that really quick, and it was leaked. So it got really it was viral and went national. Okay, what was your question?
I was going to say, was this tied to them announcing that they're pushing pause on Instagram Kids?
Yes, this is all tied to that. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So the Wall Street Journal, it was really the Wall Street Journal and Facebook's war, because Facebook was just like, hey, why would y'all do this? And the Wall Street Journal was like, people need to know how this is affecting their kids, and we're not sorry. And then that's when everything started building up, and we kind of just jumped in right before it went into big
so there was
stations.
There was a leaker, but the leaker didn't go public until after your thing. So a little bit, it is kind of like they pursued you because this was all coming out.
Yes,
but the timing was a little bit just sort of, I don't know what you'd call that, providential or, just everything.
I had no idea.
But
I was
please,
in for.
You're okay. Yeah, explain what the piece was and how you got there.
So our piece was just about a call to action from Zamaan at the end of the piece. And the first part of the piece was written by me, and I was just talking about how Instagram has affected me growing up with it, and how Facebook and TikTok and all the social media channels have affected me personally. And I think it went quote unquote viral because people were relating to it, and it was honestly news to some older people, to boomers who still comment under my post, and they're just get over it, just delete the apps. And I'm
Wow.
I cannot delete these apps. This is a part, this is a part of my generation. Like, I would literally not be able to communicate with people. I wouldn't be able to communicate with employers. Like, that's just not an option. And I think it just rang true to a lot of kids my age and a lot of young adults my age. And I feel like we were being heard for a while, but yeah, that's what the piece was about.
I mean, so basically what I got from what you wrote is that from a very young age, it's almost like you have it's almost like you're running your own little PR agency or something where you have to worry about your image and how you're being presented and how you're being received. And then
Yes.
maybe, changing, maybe it's not even your authentic self to begin with,
Yeah.
and then tweaking things to get more engagement, more positive feedback from people.
Right.
What does that do to your sense of self?
It kind of like destructs it. It's like a hard way to put it, because like you're going on Instagram and you have all these apps that help you either put a filter over yourself or help you look a completely different way than what you actually look like. And so when you're on Instagram all the time and you're on Snapchat all the time, which is like home of the filters, you don't realize, when you look in the mirror, you don't realize like who you are. Like if you really sit there and like look at yourself, you're like, whoa, like this is a completely different person than what I'm posting on Instagram that's getting hundreds of likes. Like, it's definitely, like, some of my friends refused to post without a filter. Even after my article, they were like, yeah, Destinee, okay, cool, I'm still gonna use filters.
I mean, really though, wouldn't that kind of rewire your brain if, especially you're getting validation on filtered posts that you don't get on non-filtered posts?
Yes.
You're getting the likes or shares or however else, the stuff works, more people commenting. And I think that was something that you had struggled with, right? I mean, I don't know how far you want to delve into this, but you were grieving,
Yes.
right? I mean, and you were talking about reworking a status several times about your father.
Yeah, so in the piece, I just went into how I was grieving the loss of my dad. So I was going in and I was talking about like how I've been doing, because social media is supposed to be a place where you share everything, but that's not like realistically what it is. It's you share your positives, you share your ups. And so I went in not really thinking about it, and I was just like, I'm gonna vent to my friends, and like not realizing like a lot of these people aren't my friends, and like a lot of people, like there's so many people on here, and I have like public accounts. And so when I went on and I started getting traction, I just realized I wasn't getting as much traction as I usually get, but I was getting a lot of comments, and they were like, to me it felt like people were feeling bad for me, and I was just like, oh wait, I've never did this before. Usually it's just like, hey, like you look great, hey, like it's all positivity. But I started feeling very like anxious about the situation, and so I was going in like days after, like tweaking words here and there and like trying to like be more optimistic about a situation that wasn't really positive. And I realized this is not okay. Like I shouldn't be going in here 2 weeks after and tweaking things just because I don't want people to think that I'm not okay, when actually I wasn't okay. And so I ended up going to get diagnosed for an anxiety disorder. And yeah, my doctor was just like, it's okay to like present as yourself. Like she looked at what I wrote and was just like, this is like normal. Like you don't have to feel bad about going in and like presenting like how you are. And that was just something new to me, even though it sounds silly, but it was new to me for sure.
When you talk about the feedback you were getting, I mean, when I think about it, kind of coming at this from a different generation, that to me sounds like more authentic connection than just sending you a fire emoji because you look extra cute that day.
Yeah.
But I guess I can see where if you're not really sharing your unvarnished self, that vulnerability,
Yes.
could be really tough.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to be vulnerable on social media because, like I said, I was getting comments from people I hadn't talked to in years and like people that weren't necessarily my friend, and it was just didn't feel like as genuine. But like the genuine comments did come from people who saw my post and called me, and they were like actually my friends, and were like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Why'd you post this?" And like the "why'd you post this" made me feel even like worse about it. I was just like, "Oh, I messed up. Maybe I shouldn't have shared that. Maybe I should have just picked up the phone and called somebody." But that's not what happened.
There's also this sort of interesting thing. I mean, because you are a writer, Destinee is really good with her, opinion pieces and commentary.
I remember.
But so it's like, so you can have this authentic voice as a writer that is different from this sort of like Christmas card version of that we see on social medias, and just sort of trying to like split that in two, I would think would be really odd, because it's like I would want to read your most authentic stuff, right? Even if it was not depressing or hurtful or something, but if it was just you expressing your authentic self and your opinions, like I'm in, but I'm also not this audience of, who's going to elevate things, whatever,
That's crazy that you said that,
me,
because I haven't even thought of it like that. Yeah. When I write pieces, I'm not really worried about what, because I get to stay there and like really like flesh out my words, and like, I don't know, it's a different audience.
Yeah. Kinda,
yeah. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
I don't know, when I think about all this, I mean, because so many young people, well, people of all ages really, and I started to say young women, but now young men have the same problem, body dysmorphia. And now, I mean, with filters and everything, you could almost have like facial dysmorphia. Like my face the face the way it actually looks is not good.
Yes.
It needs to be perfected.
Ashlyn's
now
got
emotion
opinions.
Dysmorphia. It's
yes.
Like,
yeah.
No, I actually have an app on my phone that changes the shape of your face.
What?
Yes, and I use it. I have like one photo on Instagram with no filter, and it's like from 2016.
And my first thought is,
Yeah.
I need to try that. That is sad. How sick
It
is that?
It adds eyelashes. You can change the shape of your face.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think I have an app like that too. Before I wrote the timepiece, I was always like blurring my face because like I have hyperpigmentation. So I'm just like,
and like
I can
Snapchat
tweak this here and this
filters.
here, and then like I post it and it doesn't even look like me.
mm-mm.
And so,
but nobody would know that unless they saw you like face to face.
Mhm. But now I'm not posting with a filter just because I wrote the piece and like everyone has seen it.
So
So
you take that advice.
Yeah.
But,
So,
I
but what's
do
your-
like my pictures unfiltered though. Now I'm realizing
Yeah.
that my last two posts are my favorite posts, and they don't have any filter on them. And I'm just like, wait, okay, this is a different type of vibe. It's not that bad.
Well, you're beautiful though.
Thank you. I
mean,
appreciate it.
I've never seen you with a filter. I see you
Yeah.
in person,
Yeah.
and I think you're gorgeous.
Thank
so,
you.
I mean, it's
I
not.
appreciate it.
It is odd though. What is, and this is going to sound like a simple, stupid question. So what's the goal of this filtered photo? Ashlyn, what are you trying to get out of it when you post this Princess Ashlyn thing from a Disney cartoon looking thing?
I don't know.
Are you
It's like,
just trying to draw eyes to it or something? I mean, is this sort of like?
well, I used to chase those likes on social media. Like in college, I would delete photos if they didn't get a certain amount of likes.
Yeah.
And, Facebook is a little different. I don't care as much about Facebook. Instagram is like where I have to always look good.
Yeah.
I have to have my best
Someone
foot
called it
forward.
the Met Gala of all the
Yes,
social
it
media.
is.
Yeah.
Like
Like you have to go in.
like Twitter's where you
yeah.
discuss all of your career stuff, where you want to look good. But then Instagram is where you just have like that perfect photo because everyone always looks good.
Yeah.
So you want to look like you have your life put together, even if it's falling apart.
And for young girls, that is dangerous, I guess, is what we're learning.
I think for anyone that's dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, when they mentioned that, the first thing I thought is, well, if I could thin down my jaw and like raise my cheekbones, that might look
That's
kind
that's
of
your
good.
thought
literally
process
do
going
that.
into these apps. You're just like, oh wait, just like one little nudge, make my nose a little bit smaller. Like
I mean, I elevate my cheekbones.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
dang, swipe
My
all the way
jawline
up.
used to be sharp.
So the next time, it's like, oh, what happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird though, because for people, and I mean, we're all writers and we're all kind of in a public sphere a little bit, and we're in a profession where we're putting it on a page, we're putting it online, people don't necessarily see us. So honestly, I mean, I could filter the crap out of a picture of me, make myself look like I'm 35 again with a much better jawline and cheeks. And, nobody out there would ever know that I don't necessarily look like that. That could become a whole other sort of avatar for me. That could become me in the public perception for people who aren't going to run into me at the grocery store.
Yeah. I mean, it's you can go ahead.
No. I was just going to say real quick, I'm not sure that isn't what a lot of people do, especially
Absolutely.
writers, and you'll see a very sort of angled like profile picture of somebody that but yeah.
Kylie Jenner, the Kardashians, like she's pregnant right now, but you wouldn't know from her Instagram. Like it's straight like clear skin, like baby smooth skin all the way down. It's just like it's unrealistic, and it's like anorexic like waist and like huge butt, and it's just like this is not like real. I was talking with one of my best friends about this, and her little sister is gorgeous, but she cannot post like a picture without like editing her body. Like it has to be edited, and her face has to be edited, and it has to be clear, and the person that she's always reposting is Kylie Jenner. And it's just like Kylie Jenner doesn't even look like this.
I'm glad I
promise.
didn't grow up with Kylie as like a person.
No, yeah, the generation after us, I have no idea like what they're gonna do.
Oh my gosh,
Michelle and I are thinking we're glad we didn't grow up with social media.
Oh, exactly.
And like it really was like
it didn't used to be like this though. When I had Instagram in like middle school, it wasn't like this, I thank God I deleted all of those photos, but like it was not like that.
Of your middle school self. So you can't even show people your middle school self.
I have photos,
now
but
there's
not
like
on my
high
Instagram.
Schoolers that look like 35-year-olds.
I
I'm
know.
just like, how do you like
it's filters.
What is going on?
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, it really is. And I think about how brutal, junior high and high school was anyway. I mean, the person you're pining for doesn't love you. You've got a zit right before picture day. I mean, and for girls, I know that, online there for a long time, the editing of the body, that's a big deal. I mean, and everyone feels this pressure. Freaking Beyonce gets busted, it's thinning her legs out to create more thigh gap.
Oh, I remember the thigh gap.
Oh, Lord. I mean, women who are arguably some of the most beautiful people on the planet still feel this pressure and think they're not good enough. And they look 1,000 times better than I will on my best day. Mm-hmm. It is crazy. But, the thing is, it does perpetuate, right? And then it escalates. Mm-hmm. I mean, and if this is all happening at a time when you're young and when your brain is still developing, Ashland.
It's fully developed at 25 now, guys.
No, she'll never let me get over the fact that I was talking about how, as a young person, I think it's terrible that you can make so many decisions that have a permanent impact on your life when that whole frontal part of your brain that provides you with all the executive function is not even, as I say, done baking until you're about 25.
Yeah.
So when you've got kids who are really vulnerable and they don't know who they are and they're trying to figure out who they are, and, and their brains are kind of being wired for these dopamine hits, right? Mm-hmm. When you get those likes. Yeah. I mean, I even fall into that. When I make a Facebook post and a lot of people like it or think it's funny or something like that, like if I get a whole lot of laughing faces, I'm like, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I feel really good about it. And if it's one where it's like crickets, then I'm just like, so I mean, I'm not immune to it.
I think in our piece, we went into how it's creating like anxiety disorders, like depression, but it's also creating like eating disorders, and it's led to like suicides. But Facebook will not release that data, of course, like they don't want to, but there's like people who have been researching this for a long time, and I think that's what the Wall Street Journal really went over, is that like 15-year-olds are getting BBLs and they're getting surgery, like they're making those hard decisions at an early age just to keep up with unrealistic standards and things that aren't even real. It's wild.
Do you know what? You look confused.
Oh no, I think I got it. Yeah, it took me a while, but yeah.
I don't know what BBL
Yeah.
stands for, but it's definitely like
Brazilian butt lift.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Bo looks like so confused over there. He's like, what?
I know what it looks like.
And it's a risky procedure, right?
Yes,
There's
very
some risk
risky,
there, yeah.
especially if you're just flying to Miami, getting it done in a few hours and flying back. Like,
Ooh.
yeah.
Are they literally augmenting with like
Yes.
implants?
Yeah. Well, I think it's like a fat transfer
Yeah.
from like your belly to your butt.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. Or like your thighs.
But you
to
can do
your
that
butt.
with like a lot of plastic surgeries, like breast
Yeah.
implants and all that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's amazing. Well, I saw, I guess maybe it was in the discussion about the Facebook whistleblower, or it could have been another document leak where they were talking about some emails surfacing, in the discussion around Instagram kids, where there was concern within the company that if they couldn't grab these kids at a young age and keep them, what it would do to their business model. So, I mean, they really do rely on this sort of, I'm not going to say addiction, but this, I guess maybe
addiction.
a little bit of an
sure.
addiction.
I mean,
to that
but
type
a lot of
of
these,
attention.
I don't know what it triggers in the brain or whatever, but yeah, these are algorithms specifically designed to keep you engaged and to keep you coming back and refreshing and posting different things. So
Right.
it's definitely it's definitely planned out. The fact that they figured they need to get their hooks in early, though, that's a little scary.
It's a little creepy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for you all, when you started posting, I mean, and this is something I've always thought, and as a mom, it bothers me. Is there this this sense that you want to present yourself as older, as more mature? It seems like you get these, little, what I consider little girls presenting themselves in very provocative ways. And we've just done a whole series on child sexual abuse and all of this stuff. And so, maybe we're a little tender about that right now.
Yeah.
But it just feels like there is this inappropriate degree of sexualization of very young girls. And I think this social media has to be feeding into that. I don't know. What's your opinion?
I think everyone's trying, like, you don't want to be like quote unquote too old. Everyone's like shooting for this like 22 to 25 like range. Like everyone,
I'm aging out.
From the time you're 12, though?
Yeah, like everyone's kind of like shooting to like be old enough but not too old. Like, I don't know, I just keep thinking about like Kylie Jenner and how all these girls are like trying to look like Kylie Jenner, and it's just like, I don't know, I feel like they're trying to look like a certain way for sure, and they are being sexualized, because again, it like goes back to validation and like, what is the guy that you like what is he like, and who is he following? And he's following these girls. So yeah.
And that becomes a whole other thing, right? I mean, like, if your boyfriend's liking pictures of all these models, then that becomes an issue. If the guy you like is all, it's all about like, girls in bikinis with big booties or whatever, then that's going to make you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
I have actually fallen into a hole lately. I have to say, I've discovered TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love TikTok.
I love it so much.
and
Hours and
great.
hours and hours
It's great.
laying in bed.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds super great for you. Go on.
At first I was just like, this is moronic. Why would I do this? I'm not a child. I think
that's everyone's first thought. When I downloaded it, I was like, oh my God, I'm just downloading it just because my friends are on here and I want to get videos every now and then. And now I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny.
Exactly. My daughters and I send each other TikToks all the
Yeah.
time now. This is kind of how we communicate. But I have kind of fallen into this hole a little bit. And again, the algorithms kind of, got a hold of me.
TikTok's algorithm is on point.
Oh.
Ooh, they get
there's
you.
so
Dude, it
much
keeps,
content
like,
on there.
hurting me though. It's like, leave this man. I'm like,
How do you know?
red flag, red flag, red flag. If
I swear.
There's so much content on TikTok that I'm just on like I'm learning that I'm just on one section. Like, there's so much content. I've never seen the same video twice. And me and my roommate talk about it all the time. And I told her to stop sending me TikToks to like stop, like don't mess up my algorithm. Because she's like on birate TikTok, which is crazy because I've never even heard of that. And it's just like by pirates. And they sing songs and they dress up as pirates. And it's like by girls. And I'm just like, I don't want that on my feed. So please stop sending me TikToks.
That's super specialized.
That
is a niche group.
Every time I have a conversation with someone, I'm like, wow, we are on completely different sides of TikTok.
Well,
that just goes to show how much like content is being made.
Well, and there's some, stuff. There's like book talk. Where people talk about. Yeah. So, I mean, there are things like that. But here lately, I watched one video of like a super hot 50-year-old mom dancing with her daughter. And now all I get is these videos of these 50-some-year-old women who look like they're 30. Yeah. And it's like, is she my mom or my sister? And then they both do some dance. And I'm just like, and then I just sit there and hate myself and feel old and fat and disgusting and like I need to crawl back under my bridge.
No.
But, there's another way.
And I'm like, but I'm smart.
but I think there's another way people take that, and which is someone else sees that and thinks I'll be the next influencer, right? And young girls, young boys, everybody, they'll see that like more kids want to be influencers now than they do doctors or whatever, whatever that last thing was.
Right.
But yeah, so you can see something, even though that like, especially on Instagram, a model might present themselves as perfectly as possible because they're selling whatever they're wearing, right? They're sort of hawking jewelry or leggings or whatever, I don't know. But now with TikTok, everyone thinks they can be famous. Whatever. Okay, fine. Yeah, I don't know fashion. We've established that. But I just mean that. But yeah, if you've got this sort of lure, this sort of hook that says you could also be famous,
right?
If you present yourself the way everyone else is doing it, yeah, I couldn't imagine a more weird time to be a kid.
Yeah. I was working at a YMCA camp, and we did like a career day, and I thought that the kids were going to come in and be like, I want to be a firefighter. There was one kid, and he was like 6, who wasn't even in my age group, and he only wanted to be a firefighter because his dad was a firefighter. But everybody in my age group, it was like 10 to 12-year-olds, they all wanted to be YouTubers. And like you're not supposed to have phones at the day camp. We couldn't get them off their phones. They're in there, they're making TikToks, they're making content for YouTube, and their things are getting like 2 hits. And I'm just like, guys, like, we have to stop. We have to. Like, the kids are they're sucked in. Like, it's addictive, and like, you can't delete these apps. Like,
I'll delete it and I'll just be sitting in bed and be like, I could read a book, but kind of bored, honestly. Kind of bored. Let's download it again.
You always have like something new on your phone all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, so what's the answer?
I think the answer is to try to stop targeting like target ads for kids, kind of like we were talking about with the algorithm. Going into different social media sites that like Facebook does. They ask for permission, but you don't really everyone's just clicking yes. Like, they ask for permission, but they're like going into your Instagram, and they're going into your like Twitter, and they're going into what you searched on Safari, and they have your location. So that coffee shop that you were at 2 hours ago, now we're showing you more coffee. Like, targeted ads for children is horrible. I think that should be stopped. I think that's like the immediate answer. Yeah.
So you sort of disincentivize the company, I guess, to push different things onto people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
stop tracking. Yeah.
But it's sort of a chicken and egg thing, right? Is where if you go to these things with an addictive personality, or you're already or low self-esteem or whatever, what does it feed back to you? Or can you get there a perfectly well-adjusted person and spiral? I don't know.
Do they even get a chance to be perfectly well-adjusted?
I don't know. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Who probably has the data on that? Facebook.
Yeah.
They're tracking our every moves. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure.
Actually, that is the answer. They need to release the data.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we can create answers.
So we can see what is actually going on. Yeah. I mean, I almost wonder if there's not like not a backlash, but you know how, okay, so you have those Instagram models, right? Who will all of a sudden go public with this big teary post about how, oh, not been presenting my authentic self. And, you know, I took 50 photos to look this amazing in this sundress or whatever. And you need to know that. And I'm not going to do that anymore. But it almost feels like it becomes like a whole other shtick. You know, because now they're going to push natural beauty because, you know, the other one's played out or there's too much competition in that realm or something.
Yeah, they do that a lot in the fitness. They'll do a posed photo and then an unposed photo in the fitness industry. That's why I try to stay off of like fitness TikTok and fitness Instagram. Like I don't follow a lot of them because they do stuff like that. And it's like.
Okay, but I do wonder, it's like, but could you create like this whole little bubble of, you know, authenticity, where that is the thing that has cachet, where that is the thing that is rewarded. Like the more authentic the person is. I think it is the thing that's
awarded now. Like everyone's being awarded for like, oh, she has a natural body. Like Megan Thee Stallion is a big thing because she has a natural body. She's not like Nicki. She's not plastic. Like,
sorry, Ashlyn.
You know,
I love Nicki.
I love Nicki too. But it's like we're awarding like it's just so like strange.
I do like Megan too.
It's like it's weird for you to like love who you are like authentically. Everyone's just so like enamored by Megan because they're just like, wow, she loves herself and she has
like,
no
that's
surgery.
So brave.
Yeah, that's so brave. I want to be just like her.
She goes out in public with no plastic surgery, just looking like a normal human being who's still way more attractive than most other people.
Yeah.
That's kind of so like brave. The thing Alicia Keys did when Alicia Keys like stopped wearing makeup. I remember that was a big thing.
Yeah, it's like she's not wearing makeup on TV.
Why is she not wearing makeup?
She's still gorgeous.
She's so still more beautiful than most people.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
She's gorgeous.
I'm going to say though, I'm going to call BS on a lot of these no makeup selfies though.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, you're not wearing false eyelashes. You're still wearing concealer. I'm sorry. You're not fooling me.
Or a filter.
I'm just saying. Or a filter.
Yeah.
They didn't say no filter.
They just said no makeup.
So what happened to you, or what more did you learn personally after your timepiece came out? You went on Morning Joe.
Yes.
You know, and we saw sort of not a domino of things, but we just saw like, the whistleblower comes on 60 Minutes, and Congress wants to get back involved. You know, they want to get Zuckerberg up in front of them again so they can embarrass themselves by not knowing what they're talking about.
Will you commit to ending Finsta?
Senator, again, let me explain. We don't actually do Finsta. What Finsta refers to is young people setting up accounts where they may want to have more privacy. You refer to it as privacy from their parents. What in my interaction with teens, what I've found is that they sometimes like to have an account where they can interact just with a smaller group of friends.
Well, Finsta is one of your products or services. We're not talking here about Google or Apple. It's Facebook, correct?
Finsta is slang for a type of account.
Okay, will you end that type of account?
I'm not sure I understand exactly what you're asking. What I can say is that based on what we've seen in terms of teens using those kinds of accounts, we've actually given them additional privacy options to address those kinds of issues where they want more privacy so that they can have more privacy.
Well, I don't think that's an answer to my question.
Oh my God, that clip just made me so mad. I was just like... He's like, will you eliminate Finsta? And I'm just like, no, that's just not what we're talking about. You don't even know what that is. And then she has to explain. Such a bad representation. But what I've learned from that personally is I think it is going to take some time, unfortunately. Like, it's going to take some time. And we do need the research that Facebook has. Like, we need not just Facebook, like we need the research we need internal research for other social media channels too. It's difficult because it's all still fresh. So yeah, I don't have any like concrete answers, but
Well, a few people do, right? I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a very new sort of frontier. Like we don't even know how much we can regulate things, and how much government involvement would want to be in big tech,
Well, and every time you turn around, there's a new platform.
Yeah.
There's something new that, people are using in a slightly different way, or a different group of people is using.
Right.
I mean, basically, as soon as people my age discover it, everyone, everyone young and cool flees. So it's like, I know that it's played out by the time I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
So.
These TikToks you speak of.
Oh, these
those
TikToks.
Those going to be old-timey TikToks.
Back in my day.
Remember TikTok? Yeah, I remember TikTok.
Yeah. So, I mean, what has it been like, though, to all of a sudden, okay, you're here. I mean, obviously, you do cool stuff all the time, Destinee. You're a cool person. You do cool stuff. You're involved in a lot of things. Yeah. What's it like to all of a sudden be getting this type of attention, like around an issue that is such a hot button issue right now?
It's humbling, and it's also, it just makes me want to watch what I say, which I think I've tried to do before the timepiece is out, but now I'm just like, okay, like I need to make sure what I'm saying, like, for one, like I believe and I can back it up and I can talk about it when I go to NPR or I go talk on MSNBC. Yeah. Or Morning Joe. Like when I go talk on these different platforms, I would definitely like want to know what I'm talking about. And I want to be careful with my words because like I said, a lot of younger people did resonate with what I said. And I want to make sure that what I'm saying is like true and it's authentic, and I'm just trying to be as authentic as I can. Like now I'm not posting filtered. I don't use I probably will use filters in the future, but it won't be like face filters, like look like a Barbie doll or a baby doll, like none of that. But I'm definitely, and I love makeup. I still wear makeup, but I'm definitely moving forward. I'm just going to try to present authentically and like not watch what I say, but make sure like I mean what I say, because people are looking now and people are checking what I'm saying.
It's still attention, right? I mean, you're still you're still drawing attention, whether that's whether it's negative attention or positive attention. But yeah, at least I would say from this, it's attention for your work. It's attention for your craft. Not just
for your thoughts.
Not just
I didn't get a lot of followers on Instagram after that, which like I'm totally fine with. Like I got followers on Twitter, which is like Ashlyn said is where my employers are, and I'm talking about work. Looking for jobs now, so I might have to pull it back. Y'all know what I do.
So, I mean, for anyone who's listening to this who has like young kids who are agitating to get on this, and by the way, if you think your kids aren't on social media, you're wrong. If you think your kids are not aware of it, you're wrong. Yeah. They will make up names. They will make up accounts. They will lie about their age. They will use their friend's account. They are aware of this and they are messing around with it. I'm just telling you, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Because I know some people who will very smugly say, well, my children don't have phones, but.
No,
and you're like, oh, whatever.
It doesn't work like that.
It does not, right?
In my piece, I talk about how I didn't have a phone, but I was going over to my best friend's house and she was giving me her iPod. Yeah. And I was like creating accounts. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Kids have ways. And kids are very fast, too. It's so fast. Like, you don't even see them.
Oh yeah, I mean, they really are. But I mean, so for someone who has younger kids who wants, I mean, I almost feel like this is another thing where you have to have like, the talk with your kid before they go, spend the night. It's like, okay, do these people have a gun at their house? You've got to talk to them about sex. You've got to talk to them about all these things way earlier than you feel comfortable having to do it.
Right.
Because you want to think that your baby is not going to bump into any of that stuff. But in terms of social media, what do you think people should be telling their kids? What should we be doing?
I think that going back to kids like Instagram or kids Facebook, whatever they were trying to do.
I mean, well, I don't even mean just, like what?
Well, like, do you keep your kid off of it?
I don't think kids would use that. Like kids want to be where they think like cool people are, and that's like older people than them, like you were saying earlier.
They want to
like
be 22.
They when kids are censored and like they know they're being censored and they know like this is for kids, they're just like, I don't want this anymore. Like, I'm not a baby.
They don't want the lame baby Instagram.
They don't want that at all. So I don't.
Where you have SpongeBob filters and that's it.
Yeah, they're not gonna like that. But my advice would be to just like set a tone and have a conversation with your child to where they can feel like they can come to you if they see something that they are scared of, or like they know they shouldn't be watching, or like they know that like this is not right. I think that you should like have that relationship with them to be like, so you can know what's going on. Because if they feel scared, they're not going to come to you, or if they feel like you're going to take it away from them, they're not going to come to you, and they're still going to do it. And it's like, it's harmful. It's like stacking up. But I think you should definitely like set that relationship with them and like be like, hey, you can come to me, and like don't punish them for things that are out of their control. Just, I think it's important to have that like communication, that open communication, because you don't want to like block them off, and you don't want them to feel like they can't come to you.
Right. I mean, I think it's almost, I mean, as a parent, I sit there and I think about, trying to make them feel empowered to present themselves as authentically as possible, to not feel like they have to be this artificial person or thing. The other thing as a parent, and again, because of some reporting we've done lately, it is completely terrifying, and it will make your head spin how quickly older dudes will start reaching out to your little girl as soon as she posts a profile and telling her how beautiful she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was 12, my parents took me off Facebook because that happens. I posted a Bible verse, how I am. And some dude was like, hey, I love Jesus. We should meet up. And I'm like, heck yeah, let's talk the Bible.
What?
Yeah, man. When I was 12, I didn't get a Facebook until I was 16. I literally was like, Mom, I just posted a Bible verse.
That's so weird.
Dude, I know.
That's so weird. That's like awful too.
Dude,
like, do you not feel bad for doing
I'm
this?
embarrassed that I allowed it to happen, but like, dude, what?
Yeah, you're a kid. Kids don't know any better.
My mom and dad taught me. They're like, well, after that incident, they're like, Ashlyn, just because someone talks about the Bible doesn't mean they have good intentions. I'm like, it's scary out there.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think there are easy answers, because I'll tell Ashlyn if she gets, not trending on Twitter, you are not your likes, Ashlyn.
He tells me that all the time.
But,
because Bo posts one thing and gets like 1,500 billion likes.
But I could imagine.
One.
But you will see.
Yeah.
One. It's usually Destinee.
Yeah. I mean, what does that do? What does that do rattling around in a kid's head?
Right.
When other things are popular and they're not, and you keep going back to the well to
sure,
see what you can do.
Well, it's just sort of like my thing about, like when you win an award, it's great. Like the first time you win the award, you're like, oh, I won. This is so exciting. I didn't think I was going to win. Okay, well, after that, you've established that you can win. And the next year when you don't win, it feels like you lost, right? So, I mean, you do one post that like does really, really well and gets a lot of traction. And then the next one, it's like nobody cares. And you're just like, yeah, I'm lame. They figured it out.
I do that too. I'm always on Twitter, and I think I'm hilarious. I'm always on Twitter posting, and if I get like 2 likes, I'm like, wow, this really flopped. I'm gonna delete this.
Dude, literally same.
But sometimes the negative things drive more engagement and keep people on even more. I'm like, there's even stuff that, it's lose. I don't know. Terrified for y'all. That's all.
Yeah, so sorry. So
Good luck
sorry,
out
guys.
there.
Although apparently I'm not even beyond it, because I'm like going, give me a filter. Let me see what that looks like. Wow, she looks really good and can do that dance. Maybe I should start working on my shuffle. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Well, I mean, I guess we do have more awareness now. I would think the hope is that things don't just quiet down again, and people, it's like, if you can sort of nail home that things are not all right everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like, it was about 5 or 6 years ago where it's like, oh, hey, Facebook's been doing this social experiment on everybody, and like we've been pulling positive things out of your feed and more negative things just to see what happens. Like they were just using us to collect this data, just messing with our brains.
Facebook is a trip.
Right.
They are a trip.
But yeah,
because they'll just slide it in there, and like you'll be scrolling, and it's just like a message from them. And they're like yes or no, and no one read. They know no one's gonna read.
Yeah.
The small print, and you're just like allowing them to access.
We're selling your data. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are we sure that Mark Zuckerberg doesn't actually live in a volcano? Like just petting a cat, like a Bond villain.
Probably.
As wild as this stuff seems, it blows over after a while.
It does.
And people,
I feel like that's what he's trying to do too, by not like making statements.
People move on with their lives, and we just sort of like sink deeper into it. So
yeah.
Have to keep having the conversations.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much. This is a good talk.
All right. Thank you, Destinee, and thank you to everyone joining us today in the newsroom.
In the Newsroom is edited and produced by me, Chris Peters. You can find all of our past episodes and show notes at studiostillwater.net. This podcast is made possible with support from the Stillwater News Press. Please consider subscribing to our award-winning newspaper and help support local journalism. Go to stwnewspress.com to sign up. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.